everybody. So I'm back. I had just recently posted a video about like a quick little life update and that my family was becoming homeless. Well, I kind of wanted to go further into that and letting y'all know what really is going on. Your little Levi down there, he's making all kinds of noises. Um, but yeah, so this is basically our experience. But I have to say that this is not the first time that my family is becoming homeless. It's actually our second time. Um, I'll briefly tell you about the first time before I go into the second one. Um, right after my husband got out of the military, for those of you that don't know, my husband was in the army. I was an army wife, blah 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 blah, fabulous. And right when he got out, we were separated at the time. I was here in Louisiana with my family. He was in Washington where we were stationed, and he was coming home. Well, he came home to his home, which is Houston. Um, and he was there, and things weren't going so well. The original plan is that he was going to stay with his mom and his brother and work until we were able to get our own apartment and everything like that. And then at this time, it was just Devin. We didn't have the twins yet. Excuse me. Oh my goodness, that's so terrible. Sorry. But Devin was about a year and a half at this point, and now she's 4. So you can see that this was a little while ago. But yeah, he came home, and his mom actually ended up losing her place. So the 3 of them were all actually living in a hotel, and they have been living that way for a little while, and we were gonna make it work. Like, I was just gonna go out there with the baby. First we went to go and visit. Devin and I went out there for about a week and a half. That way we could see him, since we hadn't seen him in a while, and we were living out of a hotel then. Then we came back. I had actually gotten into a car accident before that, so I had to come back, finish my physical therapy. Like, there was lawsuits going on and all of that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, basically we did that, and then about a month, maybe a month and a half later, they were still living in a hotel. They were having a hard time like finding a place, and they only had one car, so they would have to like drop each other off at work, drop his little brother off at school, things like that. So it was just having a hard time getting it together. And Devin and I, we went there to go and live this time, and we were staying in a hotel room. His mom and his brother ended up staying with one of her friends or whatever that had an extra room in their house, something like that. So they went to go stay there, and we stayed in the hotel. We stayed in the hotel for about maybe a week, 2 weeks, if I remember correctly, because we had nowhere else to go. We didn't have a home, we didn't have people to stay with, anything like that. Um, then it got to the point to where he was working at this time, FYI, which is how we were able to stay in the hotel and stuff like that. But it got to the point to where I had like $7 in our account, so I basically went grocery shopping for us with $7 in our account and making that work. And every time he would get paid, we would like stock our little refrigerator in the hotel room, like the little mini ones, and like have dry food that we could make in like the microwave and stuff like that. So we were at that point to where we didn't really have anything else, and we didn't have a vehicle at that time either. We were using his friend's truck on weekends when he wasn't busy using it, and for him to go to work every day, his friend would come to the hotel and pick him up, because where their jobs were like 2 to 3 minutes apart from each other, so he didn't mind doing it. Um, so that was a hard place for us. And after that, we weren't staying in the hotel anymore. We went and stayed with his cousin, who had a 1-bedroom apartment. So we stayed and slept on the living room floor, the 3 of us. And yeah, so we stayed there for a little while, and we were helping out. Like, we would pay the electric bill, we would do like grocery shopping, I would cook, I would clean, do all of that kind of stuff. But even then, it just didn't really work out, and it got to the point where we had to separate again. So we did that, and we actually did end up getting a vehicle during that time, but we were able to keep that for only a little while because we had to give that back too, because we were just struggling so much and we couldn't make it. And it's also partly because we were helping other people out and we didn't have anything ourselves to help other people. So that's when we kind of learned the lesson that you can't help other people unless you have yourself together as much as we want to, because Vernon and I both have a very big heart. What, man? We both have a very big heart, and we don't like to see people struggle. We don't like to see people hurt. We don't like to see people go without if we can help them, you know? And even if we can't, it's still sad and it breaks our heart and it's painful for us. So we try and do what we can. But yeah, so basically that's all kind of what happened. We separated. I came here and he stayed there. I moved back in with my parents, and eventually his mom found a place and he moved in with her and his little brother. So fast forward, here we are now, a few years later. As you know, like we got pregnant with the twins, everything was fine, and then I had to stay at home. So I ended up not getting my normal salary. I was on short-term disability, which decreased our income. So it's like, okay. Then we had to buy a new car because the car that we had couldn't fit all 3 car seats in it. Devin still requires a car seat, and then we needed room to have the 2 infant car seats in it. Well, we ended up getting a new one. So that happened, and actually we had to give back our other car because we had a Honda Civic and now we have an SUV. Because just paying both car notes and the insurance was so expensive, and the fact that my income was cut in half at least, I believe. Yeah, at least, yeah, it was about cut in half. So before we were fine, but ever since that happened, we couldn't hack it. So we had to give the other car back, and we just have the one car now. Then from there, the twins were born, and ta-da, they're so cute. They're such great blessings in our lives. We're so excited. We love them so much, and we're thankful that we were blessed with them. But Vernon took off from work to be with me for the birth, to be with the baby, stay with us till we came home, and excuse me, he even stayed home with us for a little while afterwards. But because he hadn't been at his position for 90 days. Yeah, he hadn't been there for 90 days. He didn't have any paid time off. So all the days that he took off, he didn't get paid for. So that was the first stumble. And then the second one was that he actually had gotten the flu, and he was contagious, and he could not be at work. Like, the ER doctor and everything, that's where we ended up bringing him, said that he could not return to work until his fever had broken, because that means he wasn't contagious anymore. Well, there's a whole other time period that he wasn't at work for. So those were pretty close in time together. And of course, if he doesn't go to work, we have no income besides his retirement that we get. But his retirement that we get monthly doesn't cover all of our expenses. So we really started falling behind. We fell behind in our rent. We fell behind in our car note and our car insurance. We didn't really have a lot of food in the house, anything like that. So we were really scraping and scrounging just to survive. And we didn't really let anybody know, because we felt like we need to deal with this ourselves. But also, the way that our families are, they're always looking down on us. And it's kind of just like, we'd never have it together. But the thing is, whenever we do have it together and life is good, nobody acknowledges that, because that's how people are. They either remember things that are really fantastic or things that are not so great. So, yeah, basically, we fell back on our bills, and we have been catching up previously, and then these 2 incidents happened, so we fell back behind again. So we caught up almost completely on those. Actually, we caught up on everything except for like half of a car payment. Actually, not even, like $100 on a car payment where we still owe them besides our normal car payment. So we've caught up a lot. So we basically did all of that. We actually would put food in our house, things like that, but we didn't have enough for the rent. So we talked to our landlord, and our landlord wanted 2 months rent in one time, but we were only behind on one rent. So we would have wanted that month's rent plus the one that we were behind. And we, even when he got paid and we had like the sum of the most of what our money would have been, it still wasn't enough. And we gave him every single penny that we had. And he was like, I either want this much or y'all have to get out. So we were like, okay, we face it that we don't have a choice. So we talked to my parents, which were nice enough to let us live in their house. We are staying there just long enough until we can save up to do an apartment and the deposit, everything like that, and kind of get back on our feet. And it's a lot to take in a family of 5 with 2 infants. And we're going to be living in my old room, and we're kind of going to like be helping out there. Like, I'm probably going to be doing like the cooking and the cleaning and things like that in between taking care of the babies and doing what I can. It's going to be kind of a tight space because it's my parents and then my sister, my oldest sister. I'm the youngest of 5. So my oldest sister is living there as well because she recently had lost her house. And she has her own situation, her own problems and everything going on. So literally it's going to be 8 people in a 3-bedroom house, but only 2 of the bedrooms are being used as bedrooms. The other one is used as kind of like a storage room. And my sister is also handicapped, so she actually ends up sleeping in the living room and everything because having access to the bathroom, the kitchen, like all of that, it's easier for her there. It's kind of all centralized. So yeah, basically we were homeless. We have nowhere else to go. If my family didn't take us in, we literally would have nowhere. So my husband and the 3 kids and I would be living out of our car or something like that. And the first time that we were homeless, it was the same way too. We literally had nowhere to go. Like, if he didn't get paid weekly, we would be out on the street. So we were literally barely away from being like the homeless people that you see on the side of the road. And that's the scariest feeling ever, to know that my family was in a position and is in a position like that again. It's not that we don't have money, it's the fact that life circumstances happen to where we're not able to cover everything within a certain time frame. So, oops. Sorry, that was my husband, and he is at work, so he really only like contacts me and stuff when things are going on. Yeah. So it's hard, like, knowing that we have to go through this a second time, and with the kids, like, my daughter's gonna love it. She loves my parents. She loves being at their house. Like, for her, it's just gonna be a big party vacation. But it's because she's 4 and doesn't understand the reality. Like, being her parents and being the parents of them and knowing that we're responsible, it's not like we did anything wrong. It's not like we were being foolish and like blowing our money on this and on that. It's literally just life circumstances that all happened at the same time and became hard, and we couldn't keep up with it, I guess. Like, it's probably one of the most difficult things to have to go through, and I can make a whole other video just about the emotional toll that it takes. And hey man, knowing that literally we're losing a place that we had called home to live in someone else's home, and you're never really comfortable doing that because it's not your own space. And especially since we're married and we have children, like, we need to have that. Now, granted, I am very thankful and grateful that my family is taking us in, but it's also difficult because it's like, okay, they want to help us the way that they see fit and the way that they want to help us, rather than the ways that we need and that we're asking. So we kind of just have to go with the flow and do things their way until we're able to get into our own home again. But yeah, literally, if they just said no, we wouldn't have anywhere to go. And being put in this position for a second time is heartbreaking. It's like we finally had it together, we were doing well, like everything, and then boom, this happens and we're reset right back where we were. And now it's just worse because we're older, we are wiser, and we have more kids. And it's just difficult, not only going through it as an individual, but being a parent makes it even worse, knowing that you can't even provide a place for your child to come home to and call home every day, knowing that you can't give them the place where they can lay their head. Like, I'm trying to not get emotional because it's really hard to go through this as a mom and as a wife. Like, all I want to do is protect my family, and I can't even do that. And like I said, it's not like we did anything wrong. It's just the way that life turned out and worked out, and it's not really fair, but there's nothing that we can do about it. So literally all we're going to be doing is that we're going to move all of our stuff into a storage unit. I've already like contacted people, and we're going to start moving stuff in this weekend, and then we'll be taking all of our everyday essentials and moving into my parents' house until we can save up everything that we need to be in a new apartment and be comfortable. So, yeah. That's basically what's going on with that. And it's kind of a hard thing to go through, and it's a hard story to tell. But hey, that's real life. That's what happens. So I'm being open about it. I'm gonna kind of like wrap this up because I can just keep going and going, and this video is already long. So if y'all have any questions, any comments, or anything else that you want to know, or whatever, you can go ahead and leave that in the comments below, and I will be open, I will be honest, and I will let you know and answer those and do the feedback with y'all. So, alright, so I will see y'all in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.